Hotspot and tethering.
Hotspot and tethering, and that's what Austin is doing today because his Wi-Fi is behaving a little wonky today. And so this is going to be a good place for Austin to talk about hotspotting, how you go about hooking up your computer to use the data that is found on your phone. In other words, if you live in a place that you don't have internet access or whatever, but you have data on your phone, you could actually use the hotspot right here that's built into your phone and have internet access. Austin, you want to talk about the hotspotting and how one could take advantage of that to have internet access?
So my Wi-Fi, it came to know, I think today that we are talking about networking. And as I made everything ready for the start of the episode, my Wi-Fi just stopped working. So then I just got my Pixel 4a out and did a hotspot and connected to my laptop via Wi-Fi. So this is how hotspot is done.
Hotspot and tethering.
You find
Hotspot on.
and tap on hotspot and
Setting.
tethering, and by default it should say hotspot is off, or it should not say anything. But currently mine is on, so it is saying hotspot on.
Hotspot and tethering. Navigate up. Use hotspot and tethering to provide internet to other devices through your Wi-Fi or mobile data connection. Wi-Fi hotspot, one device connected.
So Wi-Fi hotspot is telling me that one device is connected.
Use Wi-Fi hotspot. On, switch.
And it's currently
hotspot
on.
Name, pixel_9458.
Now, for security reasons, you should change this name to whatever name you want to keep. But I just quickly started the hotspot and came online.
Security, none.
And my security is set to open, so all the listeners staying in my area can just come and connect to my hotspot.
Turn off hotspot automatically when no devices are connected. On, switch.
You want to keep this enabled because what happens is when your device is disconnected, your hotspot will still stay on if you have disabled this, which will just eat your battery like anything. So this should be on.
Extend compatibility, helps other devices find this hotspot. Reduces hotspot connection speed. On, switch.
So what this does is there are some devices that only support 2.4 gigahertz and some devices that support both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So it extends compatibility so that both the devices can connect to these networks. Wi-Fi. There is another type of hotspot.
USB tethering. Share phone's internet connection via USB. Off, switch, disabled.
So it's saying disabled currently because I have not connected my phone to the laptop using a USB cable. So you connect your phone to the laptop using a USB cable and turn it on, and then this will give your laptop internet connection. I would suggest that you connect your phone to the laptop using USB cable, but even Wi-Fi, as you can hear now, it's stable. So, and I'm in an area which we only get around 30 to 40 Mbps mobile data speed, so it's very slow, but still the Wi-Fi is stable. So
Bluetooth tethering. Share phone's internet connection via Bluetooth.
And then there is Bluetooth tethering, which I've never ever used. So I suggest that you don't use him because this can interfere with all the other Bluetooth devices in your house, like your headphones and all, and may create some speed problems and some latency. So do not use the Bluetooth mode.
Ethernet tethering. Share phone's internet connection via Ethernet. Off, switch, disabled.
I have not even used this, but I think what this is if you get a USB-C Ethernet adapter, you can connect it to your phone's USB-C port, or if you have a micro USB port, connect it to your phone's micro USB port, connect one end of the Ethernet cable to the adapter and another end to your laptop or whatever router. Maybe you can even connect it to your router and share the connection using your router as a big like a boosted connection with long range. But I have not used this, so I cannot comment much on this. So that is the hotspot path.
And that's a good one, Austin, because when you have it the way that you have it now, anyone can connect to it. In other words, I remember when I'm traveling with my kids when they were young, And this is where that Edwards Fisher Price comes in. We have their mobile devices that were not internet. We're talking about, kids like, between 3, 5, and 6 years old. And so you have these devices that need the Wi-Fi. And so I would turn on the hotspot on my phone, and my 3 kids are able to take advantage of that and connect all those leapfrog devices and playing their games and all of that. So this is the power of the network. We will be focusing on this hotspotting, and then next week we'll look at the other items that I found here in the network and internet, because if we talk about all of them today, we're probably boring you to death. But the hotspot is a good place to get started if you have a family and you're at a place that you don't have internet access and your phone has internet access. You could share that and use the Wi-Fi part instead of using that, either the USB, because the USB would just be for one device and the Ethernet would also be for one device. And as Austin says, I don't think that the Bluetooth one is reliable. I've never done that myself. Ed, have you had any experience sharing your hotspot?
I use Wi-Fi exclusively. What I would say about a hotspot is that it will be dependent on what your it allows you to do in 2 respects. First off, whether you can do it at all. Most carriers will support hotspot, but not necessarily on all plans. Here in the UK, for instance, some of the pay-as-you-go SIMs will not let you hotspot. The other thing you might just want to be aware of as well, your hotspot data limit might be different to your SIM card data limit. So if you have an unlimited data plan, for instance, as I do, which means that when my SIM card is in my phone, I get unlimited data. That might not be the case when you're hotspotting. It might be, but it might not be. So just check what you can do with hotspot. I like it. A bit like you, Warren. We had a little child on our hotspots when she had a tablet that was Wi-Fi only. This got kind of annoying, so I got her a SIM-enabled cellular tablet the other year. But a very useful feature as well. If you're on, if a friend's on another network and they haven't got a signal, they can tether the hotspot. One thing I will just say about settings, and this will become more obvious in the next couple of weeks when we discuss these, but you may have noticed already from what Warren showed us. The settings, the network and internet settings anyway, got an overhaul in Android 12, quite a significant one. And I'm not sure all the new naming terminology is quite as helpful as it might be, to be honest. I think I would rather Wi-Fi stood alone as something that said Wi-Fi. I'm all right with it. I know where to look, but obviously, Wi-Fi is a universally used term. I think it would be more helpful if there was something for new users, obviously called that, not internet. I think SIMs is perhaps less transparent. Is it obvious that's where you'd go to disable mobile roaming, for instance? I don't know about the terminology in Android 12, but we can dive into that as we pursue individual settings categories.
Doug, do you use hotspot?
I don't actually use my hotspot. I've probably used it about three times in the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So for me, hotspot's one of those things where it's good to have, but I don't need it.
There is a danger with using a hotspot, which I think is worth mentioning at this point, which is that if you use it over a prolonged period, you can, well, first of all, it eats your battery. It really eats your battery. Also, it can end up making your phone get quite hot.
And that was our hotspotting.